Oh, let me get. Oh, okay. I'm okay. No worries. I'm okay. Okay. Hello, hello. LaShundra here, teacher LaShundra. And okay, as you guys have known from like my past journey, I did a video not too long back about BlingABC and why I am no longer with BlingABC. When you do an interview with BlingABC, then they're going to have you do a mock lesson with your interviewer. So when you go to do your interview, they're going to ask you a series of questions, just standard questions that any job would ask you. So they're going to ask you about your experience, your work experience. They're going to have your whatever you submit, when you went and applied, they're going to have that in front of them. So they're going to ask you questions about that, and be honest with them, because when I applied, yeah, of course I was with Dada. At the time I was only with Dada. And so they asked me about that and I was like, yes, I'm currently with Dada. They asked me, did I have experience with any other ESL online company? And I told them, yes, I've also been with VIP Kid. So that's it. At the time, it was VIP Kid and Dada. That was my only experience. And they asked, and I told them I plan to remain teaching with Dada and add on BlingABC. My phone. So I told them that I was actually adding on BlingABC, but Dada is the main company that I'm with, and I'm still under contract. And they were very understanding the questions. So the more I'm going to call it decorated. The more decorated you are with education and experiences, I'm going to say decorated. The more decorated you are with experiences and education, the more impressed that they would be, because you're going to get your offer during your interview. Like, that's when I got mine, and everyone else that I've talked to, they got their offer during their interview. So some people had to wait a day or two to get an email with an offer. I actually, like, at the interview, I got my offer. So you want to go through and really just knock this out. So I'm going to go through here with the slides step by step. Okay, so here we go. There are 12 slides, but they don't expect you to get through all the slides because they tell you like an estimated time for each slide. So the theme of the slide is fruit. That is the theme. And so it's going to be titled, I like fruit. That's the title of the lesson that you're going to be teaching. So what I did, I just, I have children, you guys. So I'm not telling you guys you need to go out and buy all this stuff to be successful. You can draw pictures, draw some pictures up of some fruit just to, if you're not a really big props person, then just get creative. So, for the interview, it's not that you're faking. If you don't normally use a whole bunch of props, you're not faking, but you're showing them what you are capable of. That's what the whole thing is. What are you capable of? So you're showing them how diverse and your capability. Okay, so how diverse you are and your capability. So don't feel like, well, that's not what I normally do, so I'm not going to fake it, But what they do, they're going to give you an offer based off of your interview. So keep that in mind. Based off of how you do in the interview is going to be your offer. So be creative. The title is I Like Fruit. I actually brought in fake fruit. I had it already in a bowl. Like, the bowl was a real bowl. So I used one of my little plastic bowls that I use for my kids. And I used my son's fake fruit. And I had filled that bad boy up. I had grapes and like a green apple, a red apple, banana, different fruit and it was like he had just got this fruit for Christmas, okay? We had just got him this cooking set for Christmas. So he had like this assortment of fruit, and it was like awesome because I was like, thank you, Lord. This was destined to be. And so I used his fruit. I had it in a bowl, and it was perfect for the lesson. Now, so they have a time, an estimated time on each of these slides. Now they do that because this, you guys know that I'm with Dada. So unlike Dada, with BlingABC, and I think every other online ESL, EFL, whatever you want to call it, company, at least that I know of, other than, Cambly, of course, but unlike Cambly, Kids, and Dada, you have to get through all the slides when you're in the classroom. So once you start teaching, you have to get from slide 1 to slide last in the duration of that one class. And you'll have multiple students. So they try to help you with giving you time estimates on what to spend on each slide. So there are 12 slides, and at the bottom of each and every one of these little, what is it? I would say what they send you for the slides, because they're going to send you like a PDF that has a picture of each of the slides on it. So it's not a PowerPoint, it's a PDF that they send you, and they have directions. So you actually have the directions for you. It makes it so much easier. So you have the directions on what they want you to do. So this is going to be like really quick. This video is not going to have to drag out. They have directions. So I will tell you what it says. So the first slide, it says, hello. It says you spend 1 minute. Now on the picture, there's going to be a picture of a little boy holding an apple. There's going to be the title, I like fruit. And it says, it gives you 1, 2, and number 3 for directions. For number 1, it says group. Say, hello, how are you today? Now, when it says group, now when I first saw that, I was confused. I was like, there's going to be a group of us to say this? But what they mean is say this to all the students, to the group of students. Because you're supposed to pretend that you have like 3, because normally in a normal class, you'll have 3 students. In a standard class, 3 students. So you're supposed to pretend that you have a group of students. So to the group, hello, how are you today? And then it tells you to encourage responses and then call on individual students if appropriate. So you're just going to pretend. You're just going to pretend. And your interviewer would tell you, okay, yeah, it's just me. So just pretend that you're talking to them. So they give you the directions, but don't get confused because you're not going to be in a classroom for your mock interview with like multiple people. It's just going to be the one interviewer. But you can say, hello, how are you today? And then say, I'm fine, thank you. Wonderful. My name is, and then you introduce yourself. And then you're saying this to the group. So when it says group at the bottom, they mean that you are addressing the group of students, which in this case will be the interviewer, okay? Don't get confused like I did. I was like, what the what? What do they mean group? Because they didn't explain it. It just said group. But, okay, now you won't get confused when you see group. They mean when you are teaching, this is what you address to the group of students. Now, then you say, let's get started. And you go to the next one. These are PDFs. Now, the next one just says warm up. That's all it says. It just tells you warm up. And it's like a filler slide. You don't need to pause there and be like, okay, and you don't have to make up your own thing. They actually give you a warm up activity. And they repeat that. Great, good job. And pretend that you're giving stars. Pretend. Because when you're in the actual classroom, then you're going to be rewarding stars to each student. Each student's going to get stars. Each student, like then the group can get stars. Like ding, everybody gets a star, each student. So pretend that you're rewarding stars and be generous with your stars. Be generous with that. So you can, whatever you have, like whether it be a wand or something. Yes, a star, a little cutout of a star, a picture of a star. Ding. You can make a sound effect. Pretend that you're giving them stars or trophies. Because actually, most of the platforms, they're stars. For Bling, they're actually trophies. So pretend that you're giving trophies. Ding, 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 ding. a trophy, a trophy. You can use stars. It doesn't matter. They're not going to be picky on that. But be courteous on, yes, good job. So you don't have to count like, oh, I only have 5. So you're going to have to do that manually yourself. Because when you're doing the interview, you're not going to be in an actual classroom. You're going to be just on, they used to use Skype, but they don't use Skype anymore. They're going to ask you to download DingTalk, DingTalk, D-I-N-G, talk. That's what they're going to ask you to do. DingTalk is where you're going to have the interview. They're going to, you're going to communicate with your interviewer, log in, and you guys are going to chat, video, video conference, whatever, one-on-one on DingTalk. So you're not going to be in an actual classroom with the login or anything like that. So with that being said, have DingTalk pulled up and then have the slides, the PDF, pulled up as well. Whether you save them on a tablet, iPad, or your cell phones to where you can scroll, or you did like the split screen function to where you kind of minimize the window and you have them side by side so you can look at them, you're going to need those slides to teach off of. Unless if they've changed it since I applied and was hired in January. But be prepared to have the slides readily accessible so that you can teach your demo, okay? This is actually slide 3. So you do a warm-up. It's going to have a filler slide where it just says warm-up. Then you go to slide 3 where they have the actual warm-up. And on the warm-up slide, they actually have a picture of 2 silly faces made out of fruit. So you'll see like 2 silly faces with like a banana for a mouth and some type of fruit for a nose and oranges for eyes. And then it tells you what to say. It actually tells you. And the recommended time to spend is 2 minutes. So you guys practice, practice, practice. Practice on your own. So, and pay attention to the time. Set a timer, pace yourself. You don't want to talk too fast. Don't use incidental language, but you don't want to use like verbatim what they're saying for everything and then move on. Add in your own words, but they still want you to get the key things that they want you to mention. That's the trick. So it says group. It tells you to say, these are some silly faces. Do you know what they're made of? So you can say, look at the silly faces. Do you know what they're made of? And then maybe you can pretend to circle. Like, yes, I see. You can even ask, what do you see? After you ask, do you know what they're made of? If they don't know, then it tells you, do not, they have not in capital letters, do not teach the names of the fruit. You're not going to do that here. So you're just going to see what they know. So if they're saying, yeah, banana, good. Orange, good. Then you congratulate them for knowing the fruit. And then you ask, would you eat these faces? Would you eat the face? And then you see I'm using TPR. Don't forget to use TPR. And it says, let's get started learning about some good foods to eat. So say, let's learn about good food to eat. So you don't have to say, let's get started learning about some good foods to eat. But they want you to say, a general idea of what they put there. That's what they want, okay? But you can, dress it up and make it you. You see how I changed, let's get started learning about some good food to eat. And I said, let's learn about good food to eat. Okay? And then we just go ahead and go on. And then there's another filler slide, and it says, listen up. That's what it says, listen up. Now, for that, you don't have to like stop here and teach a lesson about listen up. It's just a filler slide. And it tells you what section you're on now. So they actually have the intro slide, the warm up section, the listen up section. And so for listen up, it tells you that this is going to be 3 minutes long. You'll see a boy and you'll see the word like, and the boy's like, so he's making like a face like he likes the food, right? So you'll see the word like. So then you just look at, say, yummy. The boy likes the food. He wants more. So it says, this boy likes what he's eating. Yum, he wants more of it. That's what it says. You don't have to say that verbatim because they know that a lot of teachers, aren't going to look at the slides direction as they teach, but they would have practiced and looked over the content, and they're giving you guidelines on what they want you to discuss for each slide. So they do want you to follow the guidelines, but you do not have to read that verbatim, because I'll give you a little bit of insight here. During the interview, you're gonna have this PDF to look off of. When you are actually in the BlingABC classroom, there are no teaching directions. So when you preview the lesson slides and you see the teacher directions, you're going to want to like put that up somewhere and be able to pull that up and have it next to you, especially if it's a lesson, in the beginning. They're all new. None of them are familiar, and you want to make sure you hit all the major content. Then it's best to have that pulled up, the teacher directions pulled up, so that you can reference as you're teaching. Once you've been teaching for a while, you're going to see a lot of repeat lessons, okay? So to start off, always have the PDF pulled up some way, shape, or form, either on your tablet, your iPad, cell phone, and have that next to you while you teach the class. But don't make it obvious that you're reading like this. So put it somewhere where it's available. You don't, some teachers like to print stuff. I don't. I'm like one of those, go green. I don't like to produce a whole lot of paper. But you don't have to do everything verbatim. I keep saying that because I want you guys to know they're going to look at how you're teaching it. Are you teaching it naturally, or are you just reading the directions? Use TPR. Use your face. Okay. So it tells you to address the group again, and it says point to something you are wearing in a color that you like. So I'm wearing black, and be like, oh, let's see. I like bananas and I like the color black. What color do you like? You see how I did that? Now I'll tell you, for 2, it actually tells you to point to something and say, you can like things besides food. I like the color, and you point to, whatever you want to point to. And then it also says, then you ask them, what color do you like? And give them time to respond. Do you see how I changed it? I like bananas and I like the color black. What color do you like? And then see what color they like, okay? So now you can circle, pretend that you're circling the word like. Good. You circle the word like and have the students repeat it. It says several times. To me, several means 3. A couple means 2. So several. Like. Good. Like. Good. Like. Yes. And you see how you get them to do that? Now go to the next slide. Again, it says 2 minutes. Now it's a picture of chocolate. There are different types of chocolate, but they're all brown chocolates. So then you would say, this is chocolate. I like to eat chocolate too. Do you like to eat chocolate? So I might say, chocolate. Look at the chocolate. I like to eat chocolate. Do you like chocolate? You can reword it. And then pretend that you're eating chocolate. It actually tells you to do that. chocolate. Eat the chocolate. It doesn't tell you to show them and say eat the chocolate, but that's something I would do. I would use the camera, eat the chocolate. You know, it's something about something coming at you like three-dimensionally, somewhat, that makes it exciting for the kids. Some go, you know, and some of them go, oh, depends on your audience, you know. And so then you circle the word chocolate and get them to repeat chocolate several times. So you guys see, like, they tell you everything to do. They tell you everything. Then it's oatmeal. And it's the same thing. It says, this is oatmeal. I don't like to eat oatmeal. Do you like oatmeal? Which I love oatmeal. So I saw this and I was like, oh, I have to pretend I don't like oatmeal. So you can say, this is oatmeal. Yes, oatmeal. Good. I don't like oatmeal. Blech. Do you like oatmeal? And then you pretend that you're making oatmeal. Bleh. And it tells you to actually pretend to take a bite and push it away. I don't know why they would teach kids that oatmeal is yucky. I love oatmeal and I encourage my kids, but apparently they tell you to say you don't like oatmeal. Okay. And then, you know, oatmeal, you have them say it several times. Now you go to the next slide. And then this is a picture of a piece of toast that has a bear face from chocolate and fruit. So you can just imagine the chocolate is smeared and then they have like a fruits to make up the bear face. And then you say, look at this bear. He's so cute. He looks yummy. I want to eat him. What is he made of? What is that? And then it tells you to say that to the group. Now it actually says, look at this cute bear. He looks good to eat. What is he made of? You see how I changed it? Now for number 2, it says single. Now when it says single, that means you are actually going to address an individual student, which for this purpose, it's the interviewer. So you say, can you show me the fruit? Show me fruit. You circle fruit and then have the student circle fruit. They could pretend to circle and then, where is the fruit? And then pretend that they're picking out the fruit from the picture because it actually has several pieces of fruit and you can draw a line, pretend that you're drawing a line to the fruit. And then you clear the screen. It tells you to clear the screen and repeat the activity for the remaining words with the other students. So with several students, you would, do it. You can ask them to show you different things. They have different keywords at the bottom of the slide: fruit, chocolate, bread, oatmeal, and you just, you would ask them different things. For the sake of this, since you're only doing it with the interviewer, you will ask the interviewer another question. I see chocolate. Can you circle? Chocolate. Chocolate. Good. Where is the chocolate? Where is it? And then have them find the chocolate in the picture, the bread. This is supposed to take about 3 minutes, no more than 3 minutes, okay? And then the next slide, it says 1 minute. And it actually tells you to ask the group, do you like bread? And there's the option. There's a picture on the slide of a girl on this, this next slide. We're on slide 9. You're going to see a girl holding the bread and she looks really happy, getting ready to take a bite of the bread. And it's going to have the question on the slide, do you like bread? So you're going to go off the picture, the little picture there that you see. And there's the option, yes, I like bread, and no, I don't like bread. So each of the students, you're going to ask them, which in this case is the interviewer. So it says to ask the students and prompt them to say, yes, I like bread. So you want to get them to look, she's happy. Ah, so yes, I like bread, or no, I don't like bread. Yes, yes, I like bread. Good. So it tells you the directions are right at the bottom. And now you get them to repeat. You go to the next slide. This is the next slide, slide 10. It's going to be the same picture. It says, do you like bread? And it has the answer. Yes, I like bread. So you get them to repeat it. Get each person, in this case, the interviewer, to repeat that. Yes, I like bread. And then now it says your turn. Now, when you see the slide that says your turn, now that's when you turn it over to the student. And so you go to the next one. Now we're on the very last slide, slide 12. Now, most likely you won't get to this slide, but say that the interviewer just wants to see more and you push on, then this one actually says 5 minutes. And it tells you all the directions at the bottom. It says to go look at the group and say, these brothers and sisters like good things to eat. You'll see 3 children. And you look at the children, and then they have to listen to what the teacher says, which is you. And so it tells you this to each single student. It tells you, you pick out a student. This brother likes chocolate. Can you help this brother find the chocolate? And so then there's a maze that they have to go through. You know those puzzle mazes? So in an actual classroom, they would have their pen, follow the maze. And so, yeah, you see how you would do that? And the directions are at the bottom. They're at the bottom. And it tells you who likes what. This brother likes chocolate cake. And then you help them go to that chocolate cake. So then you just follow the directions at the bottom. And you take the brother to the chocolate cake, the sister likes the bread, and the other brother likes the fruit. So then each of the 3 students will get a turn. Okay, so ideally, if you're in a classroom with 3 students, here there are 3 children, so each student will be able to use their pen and guide through the maze to get to the little fruit. So for the interviewer, you can choose either the chocolate, the fruit, or the bread. Choose one, and that should be sufficient enough to, and they're going to look through everything, and they'll either give you your offer, or they'll tell you they'll be in contact with they will be in contact with you in 48 hours, within 48 hours, and you'll get an email. So hopefully that was as clear as mud. I wish I could show you these slides, but I know that none of these platforms actually want like their slides posted. I know that's just not fair to just post it for the whole world to see. So I tried to explain it the best way I could. There are 12 slides. All the directions are on each one. Every last one of the directions are on it. You just have to own it, make it your own, add TPR, use your face, be friendly, smile, engage the interviewer. And anytime towards the beginning where we talked about the fruit, that's where, you could show your props like, fruit. I like fruit. And then throughout the lesson, you don't need that anymore. You don't really need that. So this lesson is one of those lessons they have a lot. If you wanted to show how diverse you are and still pull out some fruit, like maybe, there's a lot of pictures with bananas in them, hint. So bananas, so if you actually have a banana, maybe even a real one. So if you actually have a real banana or a fake banana or picture banana, whatever, then maybe that would help you anytime you're talking about the fruit, you show the banana. And if you have a picture of something of your favorite fruit, then that could help when you're talking about fruit as well. So if you are applying with BlingABC, no, I do not have a link. I don't have a link for you, but I think I do have friends that at the time when I was working with BlingABC, then they applied as well. And I think for them, they were a little more successful than I was. And so I can definitely get you patched in to someone if you're interested in applying. and they can be your referrer, and you can be their referral, and you guys can have a referral relationship. But this is to get you started so you know what to expect and if you think that it's for you. So I wish you guys well. And as always, TTFN.